Jasmin, we have some problems right now. We have some problems in Canada, like like we have not seen in a very long time. Right now, we have. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that Donald Trump is breathing down our necks. I mean, we're kind of collateral damage in this whole thing.
Mhm.
But Donald Trump is definitely going after the federal government of Canada for essentially their ineptitude that's cost I mean, it's costing the United States. Now, he'll say the tariffs are there because Canada is got this great trade deal with the United States. I don't think they do. I don't think we
Mhm.
do. But we definitely have not been putting our fair share into securing the border.
No, not at all.
The
Which is
border is a
which is a
mess.
shame, like, because that benefits us too. So why aren't we taking care of that? Did you see actually today, Chrystia Freeland announced her game plan for targeting Trump or something? It's so bizarre to me how she has made her entire campaign about Donald Trump, and I'm like, he hates you. Why? And he doesn't hate you because he's scared of you. He just hates you. So, but even in her thing, she mentioned something in there about banning, wasn't it banning American firearms or something? Or did I read that wrong?
No, you're
Oh,
right.
firms.
Ban American firearms, including American-based branches of international firms.
No,
Sorry,
firms. I
no
got it.
firms,
I
not
read it
firearms.
wrong.
Yeah, ban American firms. Why are we
Crap.
banning American firms though? What the
Well,
heck
I
is
guess
that?
Mark Carney can't be involved now, so maybe that was her, if she wins, that's her ultimate move to get him
Yeah, well,
removed.
he's a global. Yeah, he's a globalist. He'll just open up another firm in another place in the world. But yeah, defend Canada's cultural sector and artists from Donald Trump's billionaire buddy. What does that even mean?
Who
What does that
told you
even
that
mean?
this was a good idea? Like this is actually embarrassing, and it just goes to show, oh yeah, nothing's changed. You have no idea what you're doing, what you're talking about. You're fear-mongering and you're trying to sell to your base that loves that stuff. But I'm
Well,
like, you read that
exactly.
plan and it's like, huh? None of this makes any sense.
So we got news just tonight that the tariffs are going to take effect because Trudeau has just, I mean, dropped the ball. Dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Is that even the word for it? Like, I think he took the ball and he smashed it. Like
It
there,
was an
there.
opportunity for him, I think. I think he took it as a nice opportunity to fully roll out his final plans for us before he leaves after being rejected, which he cannot handle.
Well,
Like,
why don't we get into that? First, I want to say this.
okay.
So right now we're worried because well, the dollar's crashing. Kurt Lubermoff writing on X saying, "Holy stuff!" I can't say that on YouTube. Donald Trump confirmed tariffs are coming to Canada and will crushed crushed the Canadian dollar into mid 68 cents before bouncing a little higher, but now below 69 cents. Instead of securing the border and going after criminal organizations, we have politicians thinking they can go dollar for dollar tariff war with the United States. And this is the Canadian dollar today from the news of Donald Trump saying, yeah, I'm going through this. You didn't heed my warning. So what do you think? What do you think Trudeau's plan is? What do you think that would be?
So first and foremost, I think too much. Probably that is my guilty pleasure. It's a blessing and a curse. But I have long thought that Justin Trudeau. Well, and it's not even a long thought. I mean, we're shown this constantly. How much he actually doesn't really care about Canada. Like there are so many things that he could have done differently if he really cared about Canada. This is actually even a perfect example. It's something I posted earlier today on my social media platforms, a video discussing about how, Donald Trump issues this threat and says, we're doing the tariffs. Here's what you got to do to get out of it. And Trudeau says, hold my beer. We're going to counter tariff you. And then we're also going to print out a stimulus package, which is going to hurt our economy on top of how much the counter tariffs are going to hurt our economy. Because remember how the whole argument at the beginning when Trump issued tariffs, everybody on the left was saying, oh, well, that's fine. He can issue those tariffs. It's only going to hurt the American people. We won't even see it. Like that was one of the first arguments I remember people making.
That is a terrible argument.
It was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, I'm like, yeah, of course, American consumers and business owners are going to feel it if he imposes tariffs on certain Canadian products, and but ultimately
Well, the
we're
automotive
going to
industry,
feel it.
for one, the
Mhm.
both sides will feel this
Yeah.
really, really bad because
Yeah.
like parts are made in one town, shipped across the border to be assembled into a part of the car that gets brought to the assembly plant on the other side of the border. I mean, it goes back and forth so many times that there's a
Yeah.
tariff. It's
It's crazy.
25% every time it crosses. It'll just
Yeah.
it'll be unaffordable to buy a North American automobile
Yeah.
if it's made in that sort of environment.
Yeah, I totally. It's everything about it is so terrible from the get go. But so it just makes me laugh. Like Justin Trudeau is like, oh hey, we're gonna counter tariff on top of the tariffs that you guys are also already going to be feeling. We're gonna make it worse, and then we're gonna print out the stimulus package that your grandchildren's grandchildren are going to be paying for, so that we can keep everybody afloat. And it's like, well, if you really cared about us, do you want to know what the best thing you could do would be? Would be to cut taxes actually for businesses. Not only would that then
Yes.
stimulate the economy because people would have more money and they would be able to go and spend more during this hard time, you would also stimulate the economy by making Canada look much more advantageous to operate in for businesses during this period. Like, I'm like, there are so many things that you could do differently that would actually help us and
You're
create
right.
zero debt for the Canadian economy, unlike a pandemic level relief that is going to, I mean, we're still suffering the inflation from the last one, and you want to do another one now? Are you kidding me? That's going to help me. Are you stupid? Why don't you just go and cut taxes? Boom, we have more money. Great. There's no downside.
Incidentally, that's exactly what Trump's doing right now.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
all
the
of the
thing too. How do
pain.
we compete with that as a country? Investment is already driven out in immensely. Even Mark Carney himself, his was it Brookfield Management? I think it was. It's like a multi-trillion-dollar business or something that used to operate in Canada that he pulled out of Canada to move to New York because the taxes in Canada were too high. The taxes that he approved when he was financial advisor. Are you kidding me right now? So it's like they've been doing everything they possibly can to cut us off. Like that's just it. That is exactly what it is. And now everybody, oh well, we should really be investing and making trade better, and we really need to expand our trade. Do we? Because you've blocked every single project to do that. You are the reason we are landlocked in terms of our oil. That's your fault. We had projects, we had funding for these projects, like we had people wanting these things to go through, and
Yes.
you canceled it. And now you're telling me, oh, well, if only we had, like, to me, at the end of the day, I really do believe that Justin Trudeau absolutely never wanted to resign. Of course he didn't. Why do you think he waited so long?
Well, he
And then he
didn't
goes,
do it.
well, exactly. He just said,
He
yeah, I'm
promised he
kind of
would in the
thinking.
future.
It was literally like, hey, so are you going to Chelsea's party on Saturday? Yeah, I'm thinking I'll go, but I just want to make sure that some of my other friends are going to be there first, and then maybe I'll go. Like that was what Justin Trudeau did.
Yeah, well, he literally said, I will, I'm planning to resign once there's a process that probably won't be able to take place because of, whatever circumstances. Now,
Yeah.
those circumstances are happening.
Mhm.
The tariffs are about to roll in, and they're all at the fault of Justin Trudeau. Like no one
Yep.
else can be to blame right now except Trudeau because he prorogued government. I mean, there you can't even have a debate on whether
Mhm.
or not we put boots on the ground on the border, which is what Donald Trump is asking for. Like seriously, if you could get a 25% discount on anything, and all you had to do was just like show up.
Yeah.
when you show up, so
Yep.
like that's where we're at right now. Justin Trudeau won't show up. He makes some vague promises about putting billions of dollars of our money in the future at some date, not anytime soon. So
Mhm.
Trump's calling the bluff and he's saying, okay, the tariffs they're gonna happen. So, but this might be an ideal solution or ideal situation for a would-be dictator. Now there's an
Exactly.
outside threat. Now there's
Mhm.
an outside threat. Now there's a way to rally the team. And now you have this weird Team Canada thing.
Oh
And
gosh.
the Team Canada thing is looking really weird. And a lot of people are commenting actually on their new getup. And it's like it's the Hail Bop
The Team Canada
comet.
uniform.
Yeah, it's like the Hail Bop comet cult. Do you remember that from the 1990s where they all put the bags on their heads and joined in that spaceship for Hail Bop? Yeah, this is apparent. So Marty up north, he gave me the idea that this might be them trying to be neutral, like Canada neutral, like not wearing any particular political party colors. They're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
wearing the gray, but it just looks so weird. Like it's not going. It's not going well from them. You know, they went from drag queens to this overnight, and Canada's not
Yeah.
buying it. Canada's not buying it at all. But now we have this approach to, okay, Trump's the big bad guy, and we're gonna save you from this big bad guy, and we're gonna give you like pandemic relief that you've never seen before,
Mhm.
as if we can afford it.
That's the thing, we can't. So, okay, so you're gonna give us pandemic relief, which is gonna help us so much. Well, we don't have any money. So, what does that mean exactly? You're going to borrow money. You're gonna have to pay interest on that. Let's say it's even something as small as like $10 billion, but it's gonna be more than that. And the interest that will accumulate, let's give them the benefit of the doubt that they take out like a 15-year loan for that. Do you know how much freaking money that is going to be? That is going to be decades and decades of paying that off. We will never get out. Like, to me, that is, who comes up with these ideas? Like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, especially when you could just cut taxes. Like, and you don't have that same ripple effect. But sure, the Trudeau government then isn't making an income from taxes per se, but also you still are making an income. And even in some sectors, you might be making more of an income because people who are then earning more on their paychecks may be spending more in areas that they once didn't before. So this whole story is just so, it's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. That's the best way I could summarize it. Like, I'm not surprised by it. I feel so held hostage, and I feel like we're in an abusive relationship with Justin Trudeau.
Well, it's not Stockholm syndrome, at least for the likes of us anyway. We're not loving our abuser. There are some of those in Canada. I think he's still sitting at 16% or something like that. We need to get rid of CBC because that's
Don't
really
mind
what's
me. My
fueling a lot of
computer's
this.
dying.
Oh no, oh no. But this is a really strange situation that we're in. It seems like, I mean, surface level, it would seem and feel like Trudeau is trying to intentionally demolish our country.
Yeah. I don't even think it just seems like that. I think there are so many points that you can point to that really signal that in so many ways. You know, there's absolutely no reason. There genuinely is not any reason other than politics for why we're even in any of this situation to begin with. There really isn't. And that's probably one of the saddest things to kind of recognize in this whole situation. Like, yeah, sure, there's always going to be ebbs and flows and things that you like and don't like in terms of politics and whatnot. You're never going to agree with a leader 110%, but there's so many things that have happened over the course of the last decade that have just slowly, and they happen so slowly, you don't see it coming until one day it's just like, boom. Until one day Donald Trump says 25% tariffs, and then everybody is like, oh, crap.
Oh crap, indeed. Oh crap, indeed. And you know, this all ties in. Like all of it ties in. We just got the inquiry, the results of the inquiry into interference in our government. Our government is completely exposed. Completely exposed. CSIS has come forward. Countless articles have come out over and over again. Even the Prime Minister himself got on the podium under oath and said, yes, there are people who are completely compromised, and they're in the Conservative Party. Of course, he's playing the. He says, I don't want to be partisan, but I'm going to do this. And of course, yeah. But then we get the recommendations from Hogue, and this is after he already tried to bring in a ski buddy, Johnston, to do the thing. After Rouleau, his other family friend, acquitted him of any wrongdoing at the Emergencies Act only a few years before. Now we have Hogue, someone who worked in a law firm with family friends.
Yeah, of course.
Comes in and says there's no interference. There is none. So who's lying? CSIS? The whistleblowers? Justin Trudeau himself? Elizabeth May, who said she got the clearance and she sees that there are people that are compromised. All those countless MPs in the
It
Liberal
really
Party.
blew their cover, right? Like that was their whole shtick was, oh, what is Pierre Poilievre hiding? He hasn't got his security clearance that we only invented in 2017 that never existed before, that Justin Trudeau put on and then decided that everybody had to get it. Otherwise, he was accusing them of being funded by Vladimir Putin. Like, wow, that was a lot. Sorry.
NCCOP for short. Yeah.
but but like that was their whole MO. And then this came out and it almost leaves me wondering, I'm like, was the whole thing an absolute lie? And that is why when Jagmeet Singh and the NDP had pushed for this inquiry to happen, that the Liberals rejected it. Because you would think if there was actual knowledge, the Liberals would have said, hell yeah, this is our time to bust some people. Yeah. Right. And so, but then the NDP says, okay, well, based on everything, we're going to do this. Then the Liberals say no. And it's like, wasn't this you were the ones who were talking about this though. And then finally they push them a little bit harder. And then we have this inquiry that costs a lot of money, takes the course of, 16 months, I believe. And then it comes back with nothing. So it leaves me wondering, I'm like, either it's the Liberals who are compromised, which wouldn't be shocking.
Not at all.
And I'm not saying that either, just in some, like, I'm conservative and so boo the Liberals. But
no, I think some conservatives are compromised as well. I think there's enough evidence to say that Senator Ho is been involved in some of this stuff too, right?
Yep. I totally agree with that. Like, I do think that there is something there, but it makes me wonder, is the end result actually that this is just a massive corruption cover up at this point in time? Because what they did find was damning. Could that also be why her recommendations were very much focused on, whoa, there's so much misinformation online, and
look over there. Oh, hey, look over there. Not here. Don't look at this.
Maybe everybody should just block every other social media platform and only listen to the CBC, because we really don't want this to get out to the general public. Like, even that narrative of it was so bizarre to me. Or is it just that there was nothing and it was just a total waste of money because there was really nothing pressing and everybody knew that all along.
There's a lot of fanfare from people that did not need to go to public and lose their jobs and all that stuff for it to be nothing, to be honest.
Hey, you need to talk for a second because my computer hates me today and I thought I plugged it in, but apparently I didn't. So I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to very briefly.
Absolutely. Do that. Are you back?
I think so. I don't know. I might just cut out in approximately 15 minutes because my computer is plugged in, but it just doesn't like me. So if that's the case, I will rejoin via cellular device.
Okay. Well, I wanted to pitch this. So this is a unique situation, right? It's a unique time where we just went through this inquiry and it came up. We've investigated ourselves and there was been no wrongdoing. Nothing to see here, folks. Misinformation. Go check out online. Now, Donald Trump has probably, I think, been waiting. He didn't put the tariffs on right away, and there might have been some reason for that. And now he's going forward with these tariffs. I think that Donald Trump might have a little bit more interest in this story than he puts on. So I put this out on Twitter. I said, the Canadian government cannot be trusted investigating itself. They've proven it with this bogus Emergency Act inquiry and now the twice bogus inquiry into foreign interference. It's time for Trump to release what the CIA knows about the CCP infiltration of Canadian politics. This is something that he has within his power. And I'm sure that he would have been holding off, right?
Yeah.
He could have been holding off and saying, listen, I'll give them the opportunity to figure out what's going on with their government. But we know they're corrupt. We know that they're bought out by the Chinese. And that is a security risk beyond all security risks for us because it's the longest border we share with anybody else. And if we have the influence of mainland China directly influencing what Canadians and the Canadian politicians are all doing, then this could be a serious issue for Donald Trump. And maybe he's doing it on like some chess moves. I'm not saying 5D chess or anything like that, but I think that it might be a situation where looking forward, this might be the case. Donald Trump is about to de-Chinify Canada. This is what I think it might all be about.
Could you imagine how big of a ripple effect that would cause if he did release something that pointed to that. And I'm sure it exists, right? Like, duh. Of course it
Well,
does.
and he has the biggest intelligence apparatus
Yeah.
on the planet. Like, do you think they don't know?
Yeah. They like literally there's been how many things in Canada that were busted not by Canada's officials, but by those in France or the USA. It seems like everybody in the world knows what's going on in Canada when it comes to crime and corruption more than Canadians do. And actually, I'm sure the Canadians know about it, the ones in charge up there. They just don't share it with anybody else and they hide it.
Well, I thought it was so weird that they had a big narcotics bust in British
Mhm.
Columbia. It was the biggest one in Canadian history. They knew it was the cartel, and they made one arrest, and it was an Indian fella.
Mhm.
Right? Like,
Mhm.
what is that? What happens there? Like, that whole facility was just run by one guy?
Yep.
Is that what you're trying to tell me? Like,
Listen, he was a very hard worker, okay? He was one of the few that they brought in who was actually above par.
he could operate all those firearms simultaneously if he needed
He
to.
was a really great worker. I don't know how he got into this stuff.
Holy cow. Like, it's so unbelievable to read these stories and then just not on the surface level just go, that can't be true.
Yeah.
Like, what we're seeing, it can't be true. And of course, I got my big start on YouTube just pointing out absolute inconsistencies, just surface level inconsistencies with what was happening at the Freedom Convoy, with what the news was telling us and what was going on the ground, which we could see from people live streaming it. You can't fake a live stream, or at least you couldn't
Yeah.
at that time. And this just it hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped since. They've been wagging the dog ever since. Is that computer about to go?
It says 10 minutes. I don't understand. It just hates me. And also wagging the dog, what does that mean?
You never heard the term wagging the dog?
No. Is that a BC thing?
No, it's actually it's a news term. It's
Oh.
the idea of making the news happen. Like,
Oh,
being
okay.
like, as the news maker, you're making the news instead of you're you're
You're
choreographing
you're
the
wagging the
story.
dog. I'm gonna
Yeah.
use that. Thank
Instead of
you.
the dog wagging the tail,
Yeah. It's you
you're
doing it.
wagging yeah.
Like a robot
So
dog that you're controlling.
that does backflips. I don't know.
Sorry.
This is what's been going on in Canada, and
You know,
it really has me concerned.
the thing about this too that really grinds my gears, for lack of better words, is just the fact that like Canadian media, there are so many things like what you just said, and like what so many other podcasters and streamers talk about that the general public in Canada has absolutely no idea about. Because our mainstream our mainstream news outlets, just like either they report on it, it's buried, they report on it, it's cherry picked. And I'm so scared for kind of like the day when we actually know what's going on and the massive implications that that's going to have. Because like even think of all the things that have happened under this government, at least over the last nearly 10 years now, or has it been over 10 years? I don't know. And just how bad some of those scandals and whatnot are, how bad some of that corruption is. And that's just scratching the surface. That's just the stuff that made it out, like think of how much more there is behind the scenes.
I think people are waking up, though, and this is the encouraging thing. People are watching your show. People are watching my show. People are going to the places where the truth is being spoken.
Mhm.
And this is the new what counter revolution, whatever you would want to call it. This is us raging against the machine. We're doing the thing.
Yeah.
We're spreading the truth, and the truth is contagious. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
people tell me sweet little lies. Love that up into a point, and then people are like, hold on a second, my life's kind of going to crap. I'd like
Mhm.
to figure out what's really happening, and people are
But we're
pursuing
the
it
best
now.
in the G7, okay?
How long can they lie about that before people figure it out? I've been saying this for
Ugh.
some time. Now, I don't want to cut this. I don't want to cut the conversation short. We have Q&A happening right after this. So anybody who's watching this after the fact, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll have Jasmin, Laine, have you on the show again. But until then, go over to Over Opinionated and check it out. The link is in the description down below. Fantastic show. How often do you do your show? It's
Daily.
daily. Okay, so
Yeah.
same as this channel. So
Yeah.
check out mine in the morning, and right after, go
Yeah.
check out her videos, see what she's talking about as well as I'm talking about. This is the news. This is the news moving forward. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.